Hello, dear listener, and welcome to Whispers of the Night. Tonight, we have a gentle story just for you. The tent that heard the river rain. Before we begin, take a moment to get cozy. Settle into your favorite spot. Wrap yourself in a soft blanket. Adjust your pillows and let your body feel supported. If you enjoy these stories, consider subscribing and joining our quiet, relaxing community where every night is filled with calm, serenity, and soothing tales. Hit the bell so the next story finds you at the perfect time, ready to drift into rest. And now, allow your mind to slow as we step into the world of rain, river, and a tent that listens to it all. Take a slow, deep breath in and let it out. Gently close your eyes if you haven't already, and feel the surface beneath you supporting your body fully. Let your shoulders drop, your arms relax, your legs sink into the soft surface. You're resting on notice, your chest rising and falling in rhythm with your breathing. Imagine a gentle, cool breeze carrying the scent of rain and wet earth brushing softly across your skin. The quiet sound of water moves nearby, its flow steady, calm, and patient. Allow every little sound, every sensation to bring you deeper into stillness. With each exhale, release tension, worry, and any lingering thoughts of your day. The world outside can wait now. It's just you, the night, and the soft rhythm of rain and river. Let yourself drift slowly, gently preparing to follow Mira's journey into rest. The tent that heard the river rain. When the rain begins, Myra reached the riverside just as the last light of day was beginning to soften. The sun had already slipped behind the distant line of trees, leaving the sky washed in pale gray and muted blue, as though the evening itself were exhaling. The path she followed narrowed into a gentle slope, damp beneath her boots, carrying the faint, earthy scent of moss and rain-soaked soil. Each step felt slower than the last, not from fatigue, but from an unspoken invitation to move carefully, quietly, as if the land itself preferred unhurried company. The river revealed itself gradually. At first, it was only a sound, a low, steady murmur woven into the hush of the evening. Then, through the thinning trees, she saw it, a wide ribbon of darkening water, moving with calm assurance, reflecting the dim sky in broken fragments. It flowed without urgency, without pause, as it had long before anyone thought to listen to it, and would continue long after the night passed. Myra stopped at the edge of a small clearing near the bank. It was a place that felt chosen rather than found. The ground was level, softened by fallen leaves, and grass pressed flat by earlier rain. Overhead, branches arched gently, not quite enclosing the space, but offering a sense of quiet shelter. The air was cool, carrying the promise of rain not yet fully arrived. She stood there for a moment, listening, not just to the river, but to the space around it, the subtle movements, the hush between sounds. Somewhere far off, a bird settled into rest. Closer by, leaves brushed against one another in a language too soft to translate. Everything seemed to be slowing, preparing for night. Only then did Mira begin to unpack. She moved with deliberate care, as though there were no schedule to meet, no reason to rush. The backpack slid from her shoulders and rested on the ground with a gentle thud. She knelt, smoothing the earth beneath her hands, feeling the cool dampness seep into her palms. The tent fabric emerged in quiet folds, its color blending naturally with the evening tones, neither bright nor dull, simply present. As she laid the tent flat, the first drops of rain arrived. They were barely noticeable at first, light as breath, touching the leaves overhead before finding their way to the ground. One drop landed on her sleeve, another on the tent fabric, darkening it slightly. Mira paused, lifting her face just enough to feel the rain brush her skin. It wasn't cold, not yet. It felt like a gentle greeting. The river responded almost immediately, its sound growing fuller, more layered, as if acknowledging the rain's arrival. What had been a single steady flow became textured ripples, overlapping soft splashes, forming and dissolving. Rain and river began to speak together, their voices blending into something richer than either alone. Mira continued setting up the tent, her movements slow and thoughtful. Each pole slid into place with a soft click, each adjustment made without force. She worked not against the rain, but alongside it, letting the rhythm guide her hands. The rain grew slightly steadier, tapping against the fabric now stretched into shape, testing its strength, finding its voice. The tent rose quietly, standing firm and unassuming, its presence humble but reassuring. Mira tightened the lines, pressing stakes into the earth until they felt secure. The ground accepted them easily, as though it had been waiting. When she finished, she sat back on her heels and looked at the small shelter before her. It did not stand out against the landscape. It belonged there. The rain continued, no longer hesitant. It fell in a steady pattern now, a soft percussion spreading across leaves, earth, and canvas. The tent responded with its own sound-muted drumming, gentle and hollow, wrapping the rain's rhythm into something warm and contained. It was a sound that did not demand attention, only presence. Mira stepped inside. The interior was dim, lit only by the faint gray glow filtering through the fabric. She arranged her things slowly, creating order without precision. A blanket unrolled, a lantern set aside but left unlit, as if light might be unnecessary tonight. She sat cross-legged for a moment, listening as the rain found the tent roof fully now. Outside, the river flowed on, unbothered by the weather, its voice deeper and steadier than the rain's. Together, they formed a layered harmony, rain tapping, river murmuring, wind brushing softly through branches above. The world beyond the tent seemed to blur, softened by water and gathering darkness. Mira breathed in deeply. The air inside the tent carried the scent of damp fabric and earth, comforting rather than sharp. Each breath slowed her further, grounding her in the moment. There was nowhere else she needed to be, nothing else she needed to do. Night was arriving gently, and she had arrived with it. The rain strengthened just enough to be heard clearly, but never enough to feel threatening. It moved across the canvas in small streams, tracing paths downward, collecting and slipping away. The tent listened, quietly absorbing each sound, each shift in rhythm. It held the rain's voice close, transforming it into a steady lull. Mira lay back, resting on her elbows, eyes tracing the faint shadows moving across the tent walls. Branches swayed above, their silhouettes stretching and shrinking as the wind passed through. The rain softened their edges, turning motion into something dreamlike. Time began to loosen its grip. Minutes passed, or perhaps longer. Mira no longer counted. She felt the day slipping away from her, its weight dissolving into the quiet. Thoughts came and went, like ripples on the river, appearing briefly, then smoothing themselves back into stillness. Outside, the river seemed closer now, its presence magnified by the rain. Each drop that met its surface added to the endless conversation, a dialogue without words, without beginning or end. The river did not hurry, it did not linger, it simply was. The tent held firm, steady against the rain. Its fabric shifted slightly with the breeze, responding rather than resisting. It seemed almost alive in its attentiveness, as though it were listening not just to the rain and river, but to Mira herself, to her breathing, to her stillness. She closed her eyes. The rain settled into a steady, unbroken rhythm, the kind that does not change suddenly, that does not surprise. It was the sound of patience, of continuity. The tent roof became a canvas for that sound, translating falling water into comfort. Mira felt safe, not because the world outside had disappeared, but because it had softened. The edges of things were blurred, their sharpness dissolved by rain and shadow. The river continued its gentle flow, carrying the night forward, moment by moment. As darkness deepened, the tent remained, listening, and as the rain continued to fall, Mira rested within it, letting the night gather around her slowly, kindly. As the river spoke and the tent heard every word, the river's low song darkness did not arrive all at once. It gathered slowly, like a shawl drawn gently around the evening, thread by thread. The pale gray light that had filtered through the tent fabric deepened into softer shades, until the world beyond felt distant and undefined. Mira lay still, aware of the change not through sight but through sound. The river's voice, already present, seemed to grow fuller as the night settled, as though it had been waiting for the light to fade before speaking more freely. The rain had found its rhythm. It no longer arrived in scattered drops or hesitant taps. It fell steadily now, not loud, not demanding, but unwavering. Each drop joined the next, forming a continuous hush that wrapped around the tent like a soft blanket. The sound of it on the canvas was gentle and rounded, a low drumming that never hurried, never paused. It felt intentional, as though the rain had chosen this pace for the sake of rest. Mira listened. She did not strain to hear, did not try to separate one sound from another. She simply allowed them to reach her. The rain above, the river beyond, the faint whisper of wind in the branches. Together, they formed a layered song, one that did not repeat itself exactly, but remained familiar all the same. The river carried the deepest note. It flowed with a calm certainty. Its sound low and continuous, like a breath drawn and released over and over again. Sometimes it seemed closer, louder, as if swelling toward the bank. At other moments, it receded, smoothing itself into the background, yet it never disappeared. It was always there, moving forward, carrying the night with it. Mira shifted slightly, pulling the blanket closer around her shoulders. The inside of the tent held a quiet warmth now, created not by heat, but by shelter. The canvas softened the rain's voice, transforming it into something intimate, something meant to be heard from close by. Outside, the world was wide and wet and dark. Inside, it was small and contained. The tent felt like a separate world. Its walls marked a gentle boundary, not a barrier, but a pause. The sounds of the night passed through it, altered, gentled. The rain no longer struck sharply, it whispered. The wind no longer moved freely, it brushed and sighed. The river's song reached her as a steady murmur, low and reassuring. Like a story told from another room, Mira rested on her back, eyes closed, one hand resting on her chest. She felt her breathing slowly align with the sounds around her. Inhale with the rain's steady fall. Exhale with the river's long, unbroken flow. There was no effort in it. The alignment happened naturally, as if her body recognized the rhythm and chose to follow. The rain grew slightly heavier, though never harsh. Its presence became more pronounced, filling the spaces between sounds. Drops ran along the tent roof in thin streams, collecting, releasing, finding their way down. Occasionally, a heavier drop fell from a leaf overhead, landing with a soft, hollow sound against the canvas. These moments stood out briefly, then dissolved back into the whole. The river answered each change without urgency. It did not rise to meet the rain with force. It accepted it, folded it into itself, continued on. Myra imagined the surface of the water shifting gently, countless small circles forming and fading as raindrops met the flow. The river did not resist this interruption. It welcomed it, letting the rain become part of its endless movement. She pictured the water gliding over stones, slipping between roots, carrying reflections of darkness and sky. Even unseen, the river felt present, tangible. Its sound painted a picture clearer than sight ever could. The tent seemed to listen to. Its fabric responded to the rain with small movements, a subtle tightening here, a soft release there. It held the warmth Myra created within it, keeping the cool night at a respectful distance. It did not creak or protest. It simply existed, steady and attentive, as though this was the purpose it had been waiting for. Mira's thoughts drifted. Unclear, they did not form stories or plans. They arrived as impressions, shapes without edges, feelings without names. The rain softened them before they could grow heavy. Each time a thought lingered too long, the river's low song carried it away, smoothing it into the flow. Time stretched, moments lost their sharp boundaries. The difference between 1 minute and the next became irrelevant. What mattered was only the continuity, the fact that the rain continued. The river flowed, the tent held, and Mira breathed. She turned slightly onto her side, facing the faint glow of the tent wall. Shadows moved there, slow and blurred, shaped by branches and water and wind. They shifted without pattern, never forming anything recognizable, never demanding interpretation. They were simply motion, a visual echo of the sounds surrounding her. The rain seemed closer now, its presence more enveloping. It was no longer something happening outside. It was part of the tense interior experience. The sound filled the space evenly, leaving no corners untouched. It wrapped around Mira's awareness, quieting everything else outside. The river continued its low song, unbroken. It spoke of distance and patience, of places beyond the clearing, beyond the bend she could not see. It spoke of continuity, that no matter how the night changed, how the rain shifted, it would keep moving. This knowledge brought comfort rather than restlessness. There was reassurance in knowing something would continue without her attention. Myra felt herself sinking deeper into the ground beneath her, as though the earth were gently supporting her weight. The dampness, the coolness, the firmness, it all felt steady and dependable. Nothing shifted suddenly, nothing startled. The rain eased slightly, then returned to its steady pace, as if testing different tones. The tent absorbed these changes seamlessly. The sound remained constant enough to soothe, varied enough to remain alive. Myra's breathing slowed further. Her body grew heavy, relaxed, resting fully into the present moment. There was no anticipation of sleep, no effort to reach it. Rest came on its own terms, guided by sound and stillness. The river's song deepened, or perhaps Mira simply noticed it more. It was not loud, but it carried weight, a sound shaped by distance, by time, by countless nights like this one. It had flowed beneath stars and storms, beneath silence and song. Tonight, it flowed beside her. The tent held the night gently. It listened to the rain without judgment, without response. It let the river's voice pass through its walls, softened but unchanged. It created a space where sound could exist without overwhelming, where Mira could listen without effort. She shifted once more, settling into a position that felt final, complete. The blanket rested easily over her, neither heavy nor light. Her hands relaxed, fingers loosening their last traces of tension. The rain continued, the river flowed, the tent remained in this small world of warmth and sound. Myra drifted deeper, into calm, held by the steady presence of the night. The river told its endless story outside, and the tent listened, translating that ancient song into comfort, into rest, into quiet peace that filled the darkness without asking anything in return. The tent that heard everything. The rain did not fall in only one way. It arrived from above, of course, touching the tent roof in countless soft taps, each one distinct yet inseparable from the next. But it also traveled downward, following seams and edges, tracing the careful stitching that held the fabric together. It slid along the sloping walls, gathered briefly at corners, and slipped away down the taut ropes that anchored the tent to the earth. The rain explored every surface patiently, as though learning the shape of the shelter by heart, and the tent listened. It listened without sound of its own, without movement that drew attention. It did not interrupt the rain or attempt to turn it away. It received each drop, each small stream, each quiet change in rhythm, holding them gently and translating them into something softer, something meant to be heard from within. Myra lay still, aware of this quiet exchange. The rain on the roof spoke in a steady, muted language, rounded taps, and gentle drumming that never startled. Along the seams, the sound changed slightly, becoming thinner, more delicate, as water traced the stitched paths with careful precision. When the rain reached the ropes, it created a faint, almost musical patter, a subtle tapping that traveled downward and disappeared into the ground. Each place the rain touched had its own voice. The tent gathered them all inside. These many voices blended into a single, continuous presence. The sharpness of falling water was softened by fabric and air. What might have been cold or harsh became warm, rhythmic, reassuring. The tent did not silence the rain. It reshaped it, holding it close enough to comfort. Myra felt the difference immediately. She felt it in the way her shoulders relaxed further, in the way her breath deepened without instruction. There was a sense of being held, not tightly, not restrictively, but attentively, as though the tent were not merely a structure, but a listener itself, awake and aware of the night unfolding around it. Outside, the rain continued its quiet conversation with the world. It brushed leaves and branches, slid over stones, darkened the earth. Inside, its voice was contained, steady, and kind. The tent stood between Mira and the vastness of the night, not as a wall, but as a filter allowing the presence of the storm without. Its sharp edges, the seams of the tent, shifted slightly as the fabric responded to moisture and breeze. These movements were subtle, barely noticeable, yet Mira sensed them all the same. The tent was alive in its own quiet way, adjusting and responding, maintaining its shape without effort. It did not sleep, it listened. Mira imagined the tent as a patient guardian, attentive to every sound the rain made. It heard the heavier drops that fell from leaves above, striking the roof with a deeper tone before sliding away. It heard the fine mist that clung briefly to the fabric, whispering before dissolving. It heard the river beyond as well, its low song reaching the tent's walls and passing through, softened but unchanged in spirit. The tent did not favor one sound over another. It accepted them all. Inside, Mira shifted slightly, turning onto her side. The ground beneath her felt firm and steady. The tent floor, a thin but reliable barrier between her and the damp earth. She pressed her palm lightly against it, feeling the coolness below, the reassurance of solidity. Nothing seeped through, nothing intruded. She was protected. This knowledge did not arrive as a thought, but as a feeling, quiet and complete, the kind of safety that does not need to be named to be understood. The tent held its shape against the rain without complaint. The ropes remained taut, the stakes firm in the ground. The structure around her did exactly what it was meant to do, and that constancy was deeply comforting. The rain tested the tent in small ways, increasing slightly in strength, then easing again. Each change was met with calm steadiness. The sound on the roof grew fuller for a moment, then softened. Along the seams, water traced familiar paths, never rushing, never lingering too long. The tent heard everything. It heard the shift in wind direction, the way the rain angled briefly against one side before returning to its vertical fall. It heard the distant echo of water meeting water, as the river absorbed the storm. It heard the small sounds Mira made, as well the quiet rustle of fabric as she moved, the slow rhythm of her breathing. It held all of it without judgment. Myra's awareness narrowed, focusing on the sense of being enclosed, surrounded by attentiveness. The tent walls were close enough to feel intimate, yet not confining. They curved gently around her, creating a space that felt intentionally shaped for rest. Shadows moved faintly across the fabric as branches swayed overhead. These shapes drifted slowly, never sharp, never sudden. The rain blurred their edges, turning them into soft impressions rather than forms to be recognized. Mira watched them briefly, then let her eyes close again. The rain's voice deepened. It was not louder, but fuller, more immersive. The sound on the roof became more continuous, less defined by individual drops. Along the seams, water flowed in thin, steady lines, creating a quiet, almost whispered accompaniment. The ropes carried the rain's weight downward, releasing it into the earth where it disappeared without sound. The tent responded by holding its posture, by remaining present and unchanged. It neither tightened nor sagged noticeably. It trusted the ground beneath it, the stakes driven deep enough to anchor it. It trusted its own construction, the careful joining of fabric and thread. Myra trusted it too. She felt no urge to check the walls, to adjust anything, to confirm her safety. The tent had already done that work for her. Its quiet vigilance allowed her to rest fully, without reservation. The idea of the tent being awake lingered in her mind, not as a fantasy, but as a gentle metaphor that felt true enough to believe. It was awake in the way steady things are awake, aware through presence rather than action. It did not need eyes or thoughts to keep watch. Its listening was enough. The rain continued to speak. It spoke in patience, in repetition, in small variations that kept the sound alive without disrupting its calm. It spoke of clouds releasing their weight, of water finding its way back to the ground. It spoke of cycles older than the clearing, older than the tent itself. The tent listened to it all, translating the language of falling water into comfort. Myra's body grew heavier, her muscles releasing their last traces of tension. Her breathing slowed further, settling into a rhythm that matched the rain's steady fall. Each inhale felt supported, each exhale unhurried. Outside, the river flowed on, carrying the rain's contribution with it. Inside, the tent maintained its gentle boundary, allowing Mira to hear without being overwhelmed, to feel connected without being exposed. A stronger gust of wind passed briefly through the clearing. The tent acknowledged it with a soft shift, a momentary tightening of fabric, then returned to stillness. The sound of rain changed for a heartbeat, angled differently, then resumed its familiar pattern. The tent had heard this before. It knew how to respond without alarm. Myra remained calm, barely aware of the change before it passed. The tent's steadiness had absorbed the moment for her, filtering it into something manageable, something barely noticeable. The night deepened further. Darkness outside became complete, but inside the tent there was no sense of absence. Sound filled the space. Presence replaced light. The rain, the river, the subtle movements of fabrical of it created a fullness that left no room for unease. Mira felt as though she were at the center of a quiet listening circle, The rain spoke, the river answered, and the tent held their voices gently between its walls. She was included in this exchange without being required to participate. Listening was enough. Her thoughts slowed until they were no longer distinct. They blended into sensation, into sound, into the feeling of being sheltered. The idea of time softened, losing its urgency and shape. The tent remained awake. It continued to hear everything: the rain's patience, the river's depth, the wind's brief wanderings, Myra's steady breath. It held these sounds not as noise, but as a kind of watchfulness, a quiet guardianship that asked for nothing in return. Within this listening shelter, Myra rested fully, protected not only by fabric and rope, but by the simple, enduring presence of something that stayed, that heard, that kept watch as the rain spoke softly to the night. Warmth inside, rain outside. The moment Myra allowed herself to fully sink into the tent, the world outside seemed to soften. Rain continued its steady patter, the rhythmic sound striking the roof in gentle, uneven beats, and yet it no longer felt intrusive. Instead, it became a companion, something alive yet unobtrusive, a quiet presence she could lean into without resistance. She wrapped herself in blankets, thick and comforting, their texture soft against her skin. The warmth they provided contrasted beautifully with the coolness that lingered just outside the canvas walls. It was the kind of warmth that wasn't harsh or stifling, but gradual, the gentle kind that seeps into your limbs and settles into your bones, drawing every tense muscle and tired thought into stillness. Myra felt herself letting go, her shoulders dropping as if releasing the weight of the day, the week, the endless little anxieties that had followed her here. Inside, the air was different. It smelled faintly of damp fabric and earth, mingling with the delicate scent of the nearby river, carried in on a breeze that slipped between the tent's folds. It was a grounded smell, honest and natural, neither sharp nor sweet, just the kind of scent that made you aware of being alive and present. Myra closed her eyes and inhaled deeply, letting the smell, the warmth, and the gentle movements of the tent envelop her senses. The contrast between the outside and inside was remarkable. Outside, the night and rain moved in their own rhythms, unpredictable in their small changes, the way raindrops found new paths down leaves and onto the river, the way wind sometimes flicked against the branches above. It was alive, but distant. Inside, everything felt carefully measured, insulated, a small pocket of certainty in a world of movement and chance. It reminded her of being held as safe, deliberate containment that allowed her to simply exist without any requirement to perform, to respond, or to think. Myra drew her knees close, wrapping her arms around them, feeling the soft weight of the blankets press against her gently. Each breath she took was slow and deliberate, in tune with the muted rhythm of the rain. She began to notice the way her chest rose and fell in sync with the gentle drumming on the tent roof. Each inhale seemed to draw in comfort. Each exhale released tension. There was no need to force her body into relaxation. The rhythm of her surroundings guided her effortlessly. Occasionally, a stronger drop struck the roof or a tent seam, and she felt the subtle vibration travel through the fabric. It was a tactile reassurance, a tiny nudge, reminding her that she was inside, protected, part of a larger, quieter world that continued around her. The river added its voice to the symphony, a soft, low hum beneath the rain's more immediate percussion. Together, they formed a layered melody, rich yet gentle, filling the tent with sound that was alive yet comforting. Outside, the darkness deepened, the way it always does when rain and night converge. Shadows of trees stretched across the clearing, distorted and softened by the sheets of rain. Occasionally, the light from distant clouds or the pale reflection of the river caught a raindrop mid-full, turning it into a tiny, fleeting glimmer. But Myra hardly noticed these fleeting sparks of light. Her world was inside, the tent holding her in a separate, gentle dimension where warmth and security reigned. She shifted slightly, leaning against the tent wall, feeling the taut fabric beneath her shoulder. There was a subtle give to it, a response to her weight, almost as though the tent itself recognized her presence and adjusted in silent acknowledgement. It was awake, Myra realized once again, listening to her breath, her movements, the quiet rustle of blankets as she settled more fully. And in return, it offered its warmth, its steadfast enclosure, the assurance that nothing outside could touch her unless she chose it to. Myra allowed her thoughts to drift. They were not directed, not forced. They simply meandered, like leaves floating along the river's surface. She thought of the soft moss along the riverbank, the way the water lapped gently against stones, the way raindrops darkened leaves and bark. She thought of the journey that had brought her here, the paths she had walked, the weight of everyday concerns that now seemed lighter, distant, almost irrelevant in the gentle cocoon of her small, sheltered world. Her eyelids grew heavy. The combination of warmth, rhythmic sound, and soft darkness lulled her closer to sleep with each passing minute. The rain no longer needed to be noticed, as individual drops it had become a continuous presence, a gentle, omnipresent hum, like the low vibration of a steady heart. And the river beneath it all, patient and constant, carried the weight of countless nights, endless flowing. Unhurried and uninterrupted, Myra let herself imagine the river more vividly, even through closed eyes. She pictured it gliding over rocks, flowing around bends, carrying leaves, tiny insects, and branches along in its slow, careful movement. She could hear its low hum beneath the rain, a melody deeper than any single sound, more profound than the soft drumming above her. And even as her imagination wandered, her body remained still, enveloped in blankets and warmth, secure in the small pocket of comfort the tent provided. The distinction between outside and inside felt almost sacred. Outside was movement, water, wind, life continuing in all its unpredictability. Inside was constancy, safety, and quiet intimacy. Each moment of this contrast added to the sense of comfort, magnifying the shelter's effect. She felt cocooned, not confined, nurtured, not restrained. The tent was not merely a covering, it was an entity, gentle and attentive, translating the chaos of the rain and river into a private, soft symphony meant only for her. Her fingers traced the edges of the blankets absent-mindedly, the soft texture grounding her further in the moment. The warmth seeped through her clothes, pressed against her skin, reaching deep into her core. She could feel the cool air from outside brushing faintly against the outer layers, but it only emphasized the safe warmth surrounding her. The contrast was not jarring, it was alive, dynamic, a tactile reminder of the difference between shelter and exposure, chaos and order, outside and inside. The rain fell steadily, forming patterns on the roof and walls, tiny rivulets winding their way along seams and collecting briefly before slipping downward. The tent responded in kind, stretching slightly, shifting subtly, and creating a soft, reassuring tension in the fabric. Myra could feel these tiny movements as a gentle pulse, an almost imperceptible heartbeat of the tent itself. She imagined the tent absorbing the rain's energy, holding it and letting none of it become threatening, transforming it into a lullaby of movement and sound. Time slowed further, dissolving into something fluid and timeless. Myra no longer measured minutes or hours. She did not need to know how long she had been inside, how long the rain had fallen, or how long the river had been singing its low song. It was enough that she existed in this space, fully present, fully attentive to warmth, sound, and sensation. Her thoughts, once meandering, began to fade entirely, leaving only awareness of body and sound. The blanket's weight, the softness of the tent floor, the gentle rhythm of her own breathing, the layered music of rain and river, they all merged into a single, all-encompassing sense of comfort. Each element, in its own subtle way, reinforced the others, creating a web of calm and security that felt infinite. From outside, the river continued, patient and unwavering. It whispered of distant forests and hidden bends, of night creatures and moonlit waters, of continuity and quiet power. The rain, steady and persistent, acted as a soft amplifier, carrying the river's voice further, wrapping it around Myra in a gentle embrace. And inside, the tent continued its silent vigil, stretching, listening, holding warmth, and sheltering her in ways that words could never fully capture. Myra allowed herself a final deep exhale, releasing the last bits of tension she had carried in her body. Her hands rested loosely on her lap, her legs tucked comfortably beneath her blankets. There was nowhere else she needed to be, nothing else she needed to do. Time itself seemed to bend around the tent, slowing, easing, folding the night around her in a protective cocoon. Outside, darkness was absolute, softened by falling rain. The river's low song was continuous, soothing, and steady. Inside, warmth radiated quietly, reinforced by the attentive presence of the tent. Myra lay still, fully present, fully held, fully comforted. The contrast between rain and warmth, outside and inside, world and shelter, created a profound sense of belonging, a quiet, abiding peace that stretched beyond the moment, beyond the night, beyond consciousness itself. The rain continued, the river continued, and Myra, cocooned in warmth and softness, drifted deeper into a world where everything was as it should be, steady, gentle, and unhurried. The outside remained alive and unpredictable, but the inside offered constancy, a sanctuary, a place where sound and warmth merged into rest, and the night, with all its rain and river song, became a lullaby she could surrender to completely. Drifting with the river, Myra felt herself teetering between two worlds, the one of wakefulness and the one of slumber. She was neither fully alert nor entirely asleep, caught in the soft, indistinct space that lies between consciousness and dreams. Her body was heavy, enveloped in the warmth of blankets, the tent cradling her gently, while her mind, lighter than usual, began to wander without direction outside. The rain had softened into a near-constant, soothing rhythm, each drop a gentle tap or murmur against the tent fabric. The sound, once distinct and occasionally startling, had blended into a continuous low hum that resonated in her chest and filled her ears with a kind of calm that seemed almost tangible. It no longer demanded her attention. Instead, it invited her to drift. The river's song, too, had shifted. Its earlier presence, strong and deliberate, had softened into something more subtle, almost memory-like. Myra could hear it not as a flowing current, but as an echo of everything it had been throughout the night. The splashes, the soft murmurs around stones, the whispers of currents brushing against roots. The river existed now in layers, the present sound, the memory of its sound, and the imagined movement of water beyond what she could see. It was endless, patient, and deeply familiar. Her thoughts began to drift, unhurried. They moved like small leaves carried along the river's surface, touching one another briefly before separating again. There were fragments of her day things left unfinished, moments that had brought small smiles, small frustrations, but they passed through her mind without weight. She noticed them, acknowledged them, and let them float away, carried gently by the rhythm of rain and river. Myra imagined herself stepping into the river, not literally, but in spirit. She could feel the current beneath her feet, cool but not cold, steady, supporting, unrelenting yet gentle. Her thoughts followed the flow, unshaped and free, moving effortlessly around obstacle stones, roots, bends, and fallen branches, sliding past everything that might have felt heavy or fixed in the waking world. The river carried them, allowed them to move without interruption, without judgment, and in its patient flow, Myra felt an echo of peace she had seldom known. Time, too, seemed to loosen its grip. Minutes and hours were no longer distinct. They were simply layers of experience, folding one into the other. A minute could feel like a heartbeat, or like an eternity. There was no need to measure, to count, to hold on. The tent, warm and attentive around her, held the edges of reality with gentle patience, allowing the night and the river to stretch time as they wished. Myra's breathing slowed even further, matching the rhythm of the rain and the river. She did not force it. It happened naturally, a quiet alignment between her body and the world outside the tent. Inhale with the soft tap of raindrops. Exhale with the low, patient hum of the river. Each breath merged with the environment. Each pause became part of the natural rhythm. Each moment a gentle step deeper into stillness. Her eyelids grew heavier, and images began to appear behind them. Shapes that were not entirely real, not entirely imagined, drifted like mist across her closed vision. The trees bent and swayed in slow motion, their leaves shimmering with the faint reflections of raindrops. The river stretched into endless silver ribbons, flowing past invisible bends, over smooth stones, under fallen logs. Even the rain seemed to dance, tapping lightly across the tent roof, in sync with her pulse, in harmony with the imagined movement of water outside. Myra felt herself floating, not physically, of course. The tent held her securely, but mentally, she rose above the confines of her small world. She could see the river winding through the forest in long, uninterrupted sweeps. The clouds low and drifting across the sky, the rain falling like liquid silver from branches to river and earth. She became one with the movement, each breath in rhythm with currents, each exhale drifting with the water. It was in this moment, caught between wakefulness and sleep, that she began to feel time itself dissolve. Hours and minutes became irrelevant. The night no longer existed as a series of moments. It existed as a whole, a continuous presence that enfolded her. The river was not a body of water, but a river of awareness, carrying all experience without rushing or pausing, without asking anything from her except to follow gently in its flow. Her thoughts became lighter still, memories of people, places, and small events she had carried into the evening floated past her like leaves, brief and beautiful. A laugh from earlier in the day, a ripple of sunlight along a stone wall. The faint scent of wildflowers all passed through her mind without clinging. She let them move along the invisible currents of the river, feeling their gentle weight dissolve. The tent, too, seemed to join in this drift. The fabric held the warmth around her, soft and unyielding in its support. The rain no longer felt separated, moved through her hearing, her touch, her very being, reshaped by the gentle presence of the tent into a lullaby that pulsed with life, yet remained quiet, safe, and unthreatening. The sound of the river and rain merged seamlessly, creating a world without edges, a space where Myra's body could rest and her mind could wander freely. As sleep approached, her awareness of the river's flow deepened. She imagined each drop of water carrying stories of distant places, of mountains and forests, of creatures that lived unseen, of nights like this one, experienced countless times in countless ways. She could feel herself floating along, observing, part of this endless movement without weight, without responsibility, without concern. The river did not rush, it did not stop. It simply moved, and Myra moved with it, unresisting, unhurried. Her breathing slowed into long, seamless waves. Each inhale seemed to draw the night into her body. Each exhale sent a small part of herself into the river. The blankets and the tent cradled her, holding every piece of her gently in place, while her spirit drifted downstream. She no longer thought in words. There was no past or future, only the flow, the rhythm, the lullaby of night and water. Occasionally, a particularly heavy drop would strike the roof with a soft plunk, or a slight gust of wind would make the tent ripple. These moments, which might have startled her earlier, now passed unnoticed, absorbed into the continuity of the experience. The tent held them with the same patience it had held everything else, letting Myra drift without interruption. Outside, the river continued. Its song had transformed completely. It was no longer a sound, but a presence. She could sense it, everywhere beneath the forest, under the sky, beneath the rain, each pulse and ripple harmonizing with her own slowing heartbeat. She felt herself in tune with it, a small fragment of its endless, patient movement. Mira's thoughts became dreamlike, unformed, ungraspable. Images and sensations overlapped, the cool brush of water against imagined skin, the smell of wet earth and leaves, the echo of distant night creatures, the faint rustle of her own movements. All of it flowed together, forming a gentle, undulating stream that carried her mind. The distinction between inside and outside blurred. The rain, once external, had become part of her world. The river, once distant, had become part of her consciousness. The tent, steady and attentive, had become an extension of herself, enclosing and protecting while allowing freedom. Mira floated, half awake, half asleep, fully alive, yet unburdened, carried by forces beyond her control, yet entirely intimate in their effect. Every heartbeat became part of the river's slow movement. Every sound, every pulse of fabric and water reinforced the seamless transition between waking and dreaming. Mira felt as though she were both observer and participant. A leaf on the river, a note in the night's lullaby, a presence held in perfect harmony by the tent and the natural world beyond it. As the night deepened further, the boundary between her mind and the river dissolved completely. There were no longer separate sounds, no longer separate thoughts. Everything flowed together. Mira, the rain, the river, the night, the gentle pull of the earth beneath the tent. All became one continuous, gentle motion. Sleep arrived without fanfare, without effort, without urgency. It slipped over her like a slow, warm current, carrying her fully into rest. She drifted effortlessly and completely along the river of night and rain, her body cocooned in warmth, her mind merged with the flowing water, and her spirit lightly touching the edges of dreams yet to be fully formed. The river continued its song outside, endless and patient. The rain tapped steadily on the tent roof, soft and familiar. Mira, drifting with it all, became part of the night's quiet rhythm, floating effortlessly into rest, cradled by warmth and water, by the attentive presence of the tent, by the lullaby of the river itself. Morning waiting quietly. Mira stirred gently before full sleep released her completely. The weight of the blankets still held her close, the warmth of the tent cradling her body as if reluctant to let go of the night. Outside, the rain had slowed, leaving only the softest whispers on the tent fabric. The rhythm of the night, the constant patter that had been both lullaby and companion, had faded into irregular taps, like a quiet applause for the passing darkness. Each drop that fell now seemed measured, careful, as though the storm itself was bowing out with elegance, leaving space for morning to arrive. The river, patient and constant, continued its low, endless hum. It carried the night in its currents, sweeping away the final remnants of darkness, flowing over stones and around roots with deliberate gentleness. Mira imagined its surface smooth and glistening in the soft, early light, yet to fully emerge. The water moved in slow arcs, each ripple catching the first faint shimmer of dawn, a quiet reflection of the sky's transition from muted gray to the faintest blush of pink and gold. Inside the tent, everything remained still. The fabric hung in relaxed folds, softened by the night's moisture. The stakes held the structure in place, steady as ever, and the ropes, damp but taut, connected the small world of her shelter to the earth beneath. It felt almost reverent here, as if the tent itself understood the significance of these last quiet hours before day fully arrived. The walls seemed to breathe with her, echoing the gentle cadence of her slowing heartbeat. Mira shifted slightly, resting her head on the folded blanket beneath her. Her eyelids fluttered open just enough to see the faint light filtering through the canvas. It was not brightness, but a soft, patient illumination, the color of early clouds tinged with warmth, of light that had not yet pressed the night aside, but was waiting for permission. The tent diffused it evenly, casting muted shadows across the interior. Every detail was softened, the contours of her blankets, the folds of her clothing, the gentle slope of the tent walls. Nothing was sharp. Everything was cushioned, held in gentle suspension. She breathed deeply, in rhythm with the last murmurs of rain and the steady flow of the river. Each inhale drew the cool, fresh scent of the morning into her lungs, a mix of wet earth, river, and distant foliage. Each exhale let go of the night's lingering tension, dispersing it quietly into the protective space of the tent. She felt the weight of her body settle further into the blankets, every part of her aligning with the rhythm of this final night. Outside, small changes began to unfold. A breeze stirred, brushing through the trees in the clearing, lifting droplets from leaves in slow, glimmering arcs. The wind carried with it subtle new scents, wet moss, faint wildflowers, the lingering trace of rain on stones and bark. These scents slipped through the tent flaps in small, tantalizing currents. But instead of startling her, they deepened her sense of connection to the morning. She was inside, yet intimately linked to the awakening world beyond the fabric. Mira's mind floated in the gentle borderland between dreams and wakefulness. In her half-sleep state, the river became a thread weaving through her consciousness, tying the night together and connecting it to the coming day. She imagined the water carrying small memories downstream, the soft drumming of the rain, the quiet patience of the tent, the muted whispers of trees swaying in the dark. Everything moved in harmony, a fluid continuity that required nothing of her but presence and trust. The tent itself seemed aware of the transition. The fabric shifted minutely with the morning breeze, softening into folds that echoed the river's curves. It held the last echoes of the night, the fading rhythm of raindrops, the low, distant hum of water, without effort, without sound, without interruption. It preserved the gentle memory of darkness, letting it linger just long enough for Mira to feel fully enveloped in a quiet, reverent pause before light arrived in earnest. Her fingers trailed along the blankets as she adjusted slightly, feeling the warmth under her touch. The contrast between the inside and outside remained profound. Outside, the air was cool, dewy, alive with the beginnings of a new day. Inside, warmth held, steady and intimate, a soft cocoon. Mira let herself appreciate the difference without thought. simply observing the comfort it provided, letting it seep into every fiber of her being. The river's song carried fragments of the night forward. It whispered over stones, gurgled around roots, swept gently past fallen branches. Its voice was softer now, more reflective than urgent, as if sharing with Mira the memory of the hours she had spent listening. It spoke of continuity, of the endless cycle of night into day, of water and rain and earth, all flowing together in quiet balance. She could feel its presence, not just in her ears, but in her chest, in her pulse. In the rhythm of her breath, Mira's mind began to drift through small recollections of the night. The first drops of rain on her sleeve, the careful unfolding of the tent, the sound of the river swelling and retreating, the sensation of warmth and shelter. Each memory was gentle, muted, carrying no weight of judgment or urgency, only a soft resonance of being fully alive in this protected, intimate space. They floated past like leaves drifting in the river. Each one carried effortlessly, part of the current of experience that would flow into her waking hours. Outside, the first subtle shifts in light hinted at dawn. The sky, still mostly muted gray, held streaks of pale gold and rose along the horizon. The clouds, heavy with night's rain, had begun to thin slightly, letting the promise of morning seep through. The reflection on the river caught these faint touches of color, stretching them into long, soft ribbons that flowed along with the current. Mira imagined the scene in her mind, vivid and fluid, even through the tense, diffused light. She allowed herself to drift further into awareness of sensation alone. The blankets pressed gently against her body. The tent walls held her securely. The river murmured below, and the faint chill of morning brushed against the outer layers of fabric. These sensations combined into a harmonious experience, the warmth of protection and the freshness of the awakening world, coexisting without conflict, perfectly balanced. Time seemed suspended in this moment. It was neither night nor fully day. The transition itself became the focus, the gentle slowing of rain, the softening of shadows, the shift of light, the unhurried flow of the river. Mira existed within it all, neither moving forward nor holding back, simply resting in the in-between, the quiet patience of the world, mirrored by the tent and river, became her companion. Her eyes opened slowly, adjusting to the soft, filtered light. Inside the tent, shadows shifted in response to the morning's arrival. Each fold of fabric, each crease in the blankets, caught the faint illumination differently, creating subtle contrasts that seemed to breathe. The tent's walls, once dark and enclosing, now glowed gently, holding the last whispers of night's sound and warmth. While welcoming the day, Mira watched the patterns of shadow and light, noticing the way the morning seemed hesitant, careful, respectful of the night's lingering presence. The rain had almost ceased entirely, leaving only sporadic, soft taps. The river continued, unhurried, carrying the history of the night into the hours ahead. Every sound was measured, deliberate, yet effortless, perfectly in tune with the pace of Myra's slow awakening. She drew a deep breath, feeling the freshness of the morning mix with the cozy warmth of her enclosure. The contrast was vivid yet soothing, a reminder of life's duality, shelter and exposure, warmth and coolness, movement and stillness. Mira embraced both without struggle, sensing the profound comfort in being fully contained yet fully aware. Her mind wandered gently, unpressured, tracing the flow of the river back through the night. She remembered each stage, the first drops of rain, the river's initial hum, the cocoon of the tent, the drifting between wakefulness and sleep. Each memory shimmered in her awareness, not as a narrative to hold or resolve, but as a quiet stream that contributed to the richness of the present moment. Outside, small birds began their tentative songs, barely audible over the river's low murmur. Somewhere in the distance, leaves shivered faintly in the rising breeze. Mira could sense the world coming alive, not forcefully, but gradually, with the same patient rhythm that had carried her through the night. Even as these new sounds reached her, the tent remained a haven, holding the warmth and echoes of night, allowing her to integrate the awakening day gently. She shifted slightly, stretching within the blankets, feeling the fabric adjust and release, accommodating the small movements of her body. Each subtle motion was mirrored by the tent's gentle give, reinforcing the sense of unity of a space that was alive and responsive, yet quiet and unobtrusive. It held the memory of the night while embracing the arrival of morning. Myra allowed herself to smile softly, a reflexive acknowledgement of the night's gift. The river had carried her thoughts, the rain had sung her to rest, and the tent had held everything with patient attention. She had arrived at morning, not abruptly, not startled, but gradually, in perfect alignment with the world around her. The faint gold and rose in the sky spread gradually, deepening and softening in waves. Outside, the forest, slick with rain, glistened subtly. The river shimmered, reflecting the sky's tentative light, a mirror of the night's fading echo transformed into day's promise. Mira could see none of this directly through the tent's walls, yet it was present in every sound, every shift of air, every subtle vibration beneath her fingertips. Time continued to loosen, allowing the morning to unfold in its own deliberate way. Myra remained in her cocoon, half aware, half dreaming, fully supported by warmth and presence. The final echoes of night, the rhythm of rain, the hum of river, the attentive tent linger still in her awareness. They would not fade suddenly, but gradually, like memory itself, becoming part of her own internal rhythm as day grew steadily around her. And in this slow, attentive arrival of morning, Mira rested quietly, cradled by warmth inside, soothed by movement outside, and held by the attentive presence of a tent that had listened, watched, and protected through the night. The river continued its gentle flow, carrying night into day. The light arrived gradually, softly, with patience, and Mira, cocooned in comfort and awareness, remained in that perfect, suspended moment, the bridge between night and day, between rest and awakening, between river and self. And now, the night holds you, the river continues its gentle song, the tent keeps watch as you drift deeper. Let go completely, let your breath guide you, sleep peacefully until morning finds you.